Hello, this is Lynn McCool, and today I want to talk to you about guidelines for using graphics. You want to look for places where graphics could support your text, and this is especially important with the new project coming up. Remember these four guidelines. A graphic should tell a simple story. A quick glance should indicate what the graphic says. A graphic should reinforce the written text, not replace it. Explain your information in writing first. The written text should refer readers to the graphics. A graphic should be ethical. Don't use graphs, charts, tables, illustrations, and photographs to hide information, distort facts, or exaggerate trends. Don't distort or doctor photographs. Unethical graphics erode your credibility, and a graphic should be labeled and placed properly on the page. Each graphic should be labeled with an informative title. You should also label the X and Y axes using standard units of measurement, columns and rows so that readers can locate data points, and important features of drawings or illustrations. The source of data should be identified underneath each of the graphics. Don't make your readers hunt for your graphics. Which of the following is true for using graphics? A. You should never edit photographs. B. Graphics could take the place of text. C. It can be helpful to hide information in graphics. Or D. None of the above. Hopefully you said D. None of the above. Let's talk about displaying data with graphs, tables, and charts. You want to choose a graphic that fits the story you want to tell. You have a variety of choices, such as line graphs, which show measurements over time. They can show trends of how quantities rise and fall over time, and they can show relationships between variables. Charts the interaction of two variables. Bar charts are used to show quantities. This allows the readers to make visual comparisons among measurements, and the length of bars varies to represent the quantity. Tables display data or facts in a small amount of space. The information is placed in horizontal rows and vertical columns, and you need to label your table. Don't place more information than necessary in your table, and place larger tables in an appendix. Pie charts are used for showing how a whole divides into parts, and you should use these sparingly as they take up a lot of space and show a small amount of data. Flowcharts guide readers through a series of decisions, actions, or steps, and they help to illustrate a process. Arrows are used to connect parts of the flowchart, showing the direction of the process. Finally, Gantt charts. These are popular in proposals and progress reports, and they're good for showing how the schedule will work for a project. They show interrelationships. Okay, let's test your knowledge again. Which of the following shows relationships between variables? Is it A, bar charts, B, line graphs, C, pie charts, or D, tables? Hopefully you said B, line graphs. Next, let's talk about using pictures, drawings, and screenshots. A picture, drawing, or video shows what something looks like. And of course we can have photos, illustrations, or screenshots. These are kinds of visuals that are helpful when readers aren't familiar with something. They also can show a condition. You can set up a photo shot that tells the story you want to tell. For example, photographing people. You can use a simple but scenic background and show people doing what they actually do. There's also something called the rule of thirds. This is to place the focal point of a picture where the top third of the picture begins. In photographing objects, you want to think about capturing close-up shots while minimizing clutter in the background. Use a white backdrop and plenty of lighting. You can also capture machines or equipment close-up and in action. As far as photographing places are concerned, you want to focus on people doing something in the place you are photographing because people add action and scale. Inserting photographs and other images into your document, you want to make sure that you're using high-resolution photos. Those usually are either TIFF files. If you want a lower resolution photo, especially if what you're going to be doing is eventually going to be put on the web, then perhaps you would use a GIF or a JPEG. Line drawings and diagrams. These are semi-realistic illustrations of the subject. Some of their advantages is that they provide close-up view of important features or parts, and they are easily labeled. But the disadvantage is that sometimes they don't look very realistic. Maps, of course, can offer a view of the subject from above, and they can also show geographic features like streets, buildings, or rivers. Icons and clip art. Icons may be warning symbols or signposts to locate information, whereas clip art should be used very sparingly, and I often think of clip art as the lazy man's way of doing graphics. Screenshots are a picture of whatever is on your computer screen, and sometimes that can be useful, especially if you're trying to describe a process or how to do something on the computer. Okay, let's test your knowledge again. What is the rule of thirds? Is it A, photographs should be grouped in threes to maintain consistency? B, no more than 3 graphics should be displayed on a page? C, place the focal point of the picture where the top third of the picture begins, or D, none of the above? Hopefully you said C, place the focal point of the picture where the top third of the picture begins. Next, let's talk about using cross-cultural symbols. These are symbols that can convey information across cultures, but they may be misinterpreted. So here are some guidelines. First, keep human icons simple. Stick to simple photographs without distinctive clothing or facial features. Use hand signals very carefully. Any hand signal is offensive to some culture, so you may want to just avoid them altogether. Avoid culture-specific icons, things like mailboxes, phone booths, and eating utensils, which may be very different in other cultures. Also avoid religious symbols such as crosses, crescents, stars, wings, candles, yin-yang, and other religious symbols which can be interpreted differently in other cultures. And finally, avoid using animal symbols and mascots because, again, animals can mean very different things in other cultures. Okay, that wraps up our discussion of how to use graphics inside of your document. If you have any questions, please contact me, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.